Other interesting political news, you have Vivek on take on New York's Trump's lawsuit. Now, he is responding to Corey Mills on the X Twitter, and Corey Mills originally said, quote, "The New York verdict is clearly politically motivated lawfare. This weaponized injustice is intended to target the president, his family, business, and an attempt to discredit and drain financial resources. This is political persecution of President Trump, and the American people see exactly what's going on, from the unconstitutional removals from state ballots, filing of indictments in courtrooms to deter from campaigning, and election interference by leftist district attorneys and attorney general henchmen like Jack Smith. We will not allow lawfare to replace the ballot box where Biden is far behind and losing," unquote. And that originally got about 600,000 views on the X Twitter. And then, let me see here. Vivek decided to retweet it, and then he actually included a statement. Now, Vivek also ballooned up to about 560,000 views. So actually, interestingly enough, not one of his most popular takes, but I still think it's an interesting one nevertheless. Now, Vivek said, quote, "It's a sad day when judicial verdicts are the predictable outcome of politics, and that's why we are America, and that's where we are in America today. This needs to end. I'm hopeful that people of our country will see through the charade and vote accordingly in November," unquote. Again, that got about 560,000 views and about 19,000 likes. Now, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think more and more people are starting to see the clear political persecution from the situation, especially in the case of New York, when, again, the banks that loaned Trump the money, they all agreed to the valuations. They lent him the money. He paid it back with interest. They all profited. In fact, the financial institutions testified that, oh yeah, we liked it. We made money off this. We have no issue with it. And yet, the judge still wants to charge him with this? For standard realtor practice? Really? But, nevertheless, maybe everyone's going to ratio Vivek. Maybe they're all going to say he's wrong. Probably not, but stab in the comments and find out. First one comes from our, not favorite, but our followed leftist, Luke Zaleski, and he says, quote, "Everything," geez Louise. He just, I don't want to say he's lazy, but I can't help but notice I see him every couple of days and almost like just copy paste things. But nevertheless, he says, quote, "Everything has to be a travesty of justice, and Trump has to be the persecuted victim, and everyone who points out his fraud, abuse of power, and criminality has to be the villain, and nothing can just be what it is, because then their king is a comment and their kingdom collapses," unquote. Now, granted, pretty mentally vacuous statement, but 60 people did agree with Luke's statement. Now, again, it's one of those fascinating things where maybe it's the pot calling the kettle black, or can't laugh when you see things like District Attorney Fani Willis being, admitting financial fraud. The people who are accusing you of something are usually the ones they themselves are guilty of. But nevertheless, you have the USMC Lady Vet. She says, quote, "This is no different than when the mob owned the judges than the police. It's just a different mob. It's called the Democratic Party," unquote, getting 166 likes. You have Taylor Morgan saying, quote, "The weaponization of the law to silence the chief political rival of the sitting president, bankrupt him, jail him, and keep him out of the ballot should be a cause for concern for everyone. Franklin's, quote, 'A republic if you can keep it,' unquote, is an ominous warning these days," unquote, getting 16 likes. First Word says, quote, "Everyone sees through the charade, but Democrat voters are good with it because democracy is at stake," unquote, getting 40 likes. Yes, that is ironic. Democracy is at stake, and the only way to save it is to ban your political rivals. I mean, it's one of those things where even the judge at the end of the verdict, he smiled, like he was happy with it. Which, again, if you're a judge, you're supposed to be impartial. You're not supposed to hardly show any emotion in the courtroom. And he was visibly very happy for the cameras and very happy at his ruling. The random guy has a picture or a video from Fani Willis, and he says, "Fulton DA Fani Willis just claimed if you oppose her, you oppose democracy." Getting 4 likes. Great Stone says, quote, "Multiply that hope by millions. Trump must win. Vivek, please try to ensure that no illegal votes are cast," unquote, getting 8 likes. Tim says, quote, "So true. Move these cases to Alabama if they are credible. They won't go for the same reason they go for New York and D.C., unquote, getting 6 likes. So let's see here. Stacey Phillips says, quote, we've had over 1,000 consecutive sad days, unquote. Just saying, getting 4 likes. So a couple contrarian statements, but overwhelmingly pretty positive feedback for Vivek. So it'll be interesting to see how many people maybe start to tune in a little bit more into politics, start to pay more attention. And if a lot of people start to realize it sure looks like it's being politically motivated with all these charges, especially when, again, some of the same charges Trump's rivals, oh yeah, they don't get prosecuted at all. Even Mike Pence, oh yeah, he's not going to get prosecuted for not having his documents properly stored. And those charges were brought up against Trump. Interesting, but as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you again, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you can click that button. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, or sharing it is also a great way to give me some additional feedback and help the channel grow. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.